So, good morning and welcome to Wednesday Wisdom, July 10th, 2024. And today, joining us is our amazing leader, Teri Secrest of the Royal Dream Team. And oh my, we have such a story to share because you know, I was about to say it was a 6 month journey doing the Eating for Life course, but honestly, it's more of like an 8 month journey or more of like an 8 year journey. And you have been in the kitchen cooking and teaching about healthy foods and things for so many years that I know today we just wanted to share kind of like the behind the scenes story of like Eating for Life. What was the inspiration for it? How did it come about?
Oh, Elizabeth, that is $1 million question. And I
Yep.
want to welcome everybody watching today and share you guys. I feel like I've been up to my elbows in food for over 30 years. It's amazing. So, but really and truly, I think, when I was pondering this class today, Elizabeth, I think I'd like to title it Life Lessons that we
Mm,
learned from behind the scenes, because I'm sure you would agree that along this journey, the most recent journey is about a 6 month journey creating this course. We have learned so many things and so many fun memories. And you guys, people that know me know I love humor. So just get ready for some humor today. Get ready to laugh because we have some fun, crazy things to share with you. So Elizabeth, would you like me to jump in a little bit here and just tell the kind of how it all got started?
yes, go ahead because it is your thought baby, your creation, and it has been so fun to be along on the journey of it. But you definitely get the credit for coming up with a whopper mission.
Well, the amazing thing is, if I think of you and all of the other approximately 10 people involved in this whole, like 12 people total involved in this, it's
Hmm.
amazing how this team that was put together, Elizabeth, everybody had different skills and talents. So, lesson number one is we never, ever create anything fantastic alone. It's
True.
always about the team. It's never a one-man show. And if it's a one-man show, it's never going to be as successful as it could be with a team. So really throughout today, I hope I can acknowledge each person. So you guys, it actually started, anybody that's watching that knew my amazing husband, Reed, knows that he was not only the king in the kitchen, I'll have to say that, he was the king in the kitchen. He also had so much humor and so much joy, and he had the spirit of hospitality that knew no limits at all. So our favorite activity was really just gourmet cooking and entertaining guests together. That's what Reed and I love doing. So in 2022, when Reed passed away, not only did I not want to cook, you guys, I probably did not want to get out of bed for a good 3 months. I was like really and truly in a slump. And as Elizabeth knows, that's so unusual for me because I'm such a positive person. So one day I just woke up and I just thought, how am I going to quit looking in the rearview mirror, thinking about what I lost, and how is it possible to look ahead to the life in front of me and get going, get going in life? So I invited some girlfriends over for a cooking class. And honestly, it took every ounce of strength just to get in the car to go to the grocery store. It just like was like sheer willpower, because I felt like I didn't even have the energy to like walk down the grocery aisles. Anyway, once we got going, once we got cooking, once we got together in that kitchen, it was amazing. It turned out to be a life-giving, very uplifting day. And so everybody that came started posting photos on Facebook. Probably the first thing I've posted in months and months. And all of a sudden, I got a phone call from my pastor and his wife, and they said, "Hey, let's have lunch together. We have an idea." So we had lunch, and they said, "Hey, how would you feel about teaching healthy cooking to the church?" And I'm embarrassed to say this, Elizabeth, but I broke out laughing. And I said, nobody would come because we're in Texas. Everybody just wants to eat meat and steak and potatoes. Nobody would show up. So anyway, it was just kind of a funny thing. And then I said, well, what do you have in mind? And he said, well, he said, I was thinking you could bring all the ingredients to the church and you could cook, you could teach a class and cook for 200. And I said, 200? Oh my gosh, there's no way I could cook for 200. I was just like panic stricken. So I said, let me think this over and I'll get back to you. So, I'm just along the way here, want to give a few of these, life lessons. And one of them is asking God for a creative solution when we have a problem. And as you know, Elizabeth, throughout my career for 28 years, being in the health and wellness industry, that is honestly what I do, because half the time I don't know the solution. I don't know what the best road is. So as I just took time and I said, Lord, what is this, something that could help people? Is this a viable thing? How could it work? What was brought to my attention was that when you get to be my age, you have to think about duplication. How are you going to do something? I could teach 100 classes and then maybe nobody would remember it, but how are you going to duplicate it? So a couple of weeks later, I called up the pastor and his wife and said, hey, let's have lunch. I've got an idea. And I said, okay. I said, why don't we just hand invite 8 people to come to my home? Let's do the cooking classes in my home and let's videotape them. And that way we truly are duplicating it and lots of people can actually see it. So that's what we did. Now, here's the thing is, you guys want to write this down. When you think something is going to be free, it's generally never free. So what do I mean by that? Well, the pastor was so generous. He offered to come in with all of his video equipment and videotape all these classes. And I mean, any of you guys that have ever done videos, it's very, very expensive to do videos. And I was like so extremely grateful. So he came in with 3 cameras, high quality cameras and everything. And we got everything ready. So let me kind of go through that really quickly. I had the outline ready. We had all the recipes prepared, everything was ready. And just to go into the 3 goals number 1, Elizabeth knows this, we just want people to fall in love with good food. I mean, that is just what we want to see happen, because so many people are struggling with illness and sickness. And we truly desire for people to learn about what I call real food. Okay, the second goal is for people to have more confidence as a home chef, to just get in there and become confident. That's what Reed was. He was so confident. He could have easily opened up a restaurant. He was so skilled and so talented. And so number 3 is just fall in love with hospitality, inviting people into your home to cook together, to get together and have good conversation. I was blessed to live in Europe, and over there, a meal takes 3 hours because they have so much good conversation at the end of the meal. So those were the goals. And along the way, just to bring fun back into the kitchen. That was really the theme of everything, is bringing fun back. So, okay, here's what happened. And Elizabeth's going to jump in a few minutes and give you some details of her personal story. So for the first class that we did the cooking in, I go to the grocery store and hardly know anybody's name or anything, and start doing all this shopping. And finally they're like, what do you have, 12 kids? Who are you cooking for? So I'm starting to go to the grocery store more and more and more and get to know everybody on a first name basis. And anyway, they just were like amazed at all this large amounts of food that was being purchased. And so what happened was we videotaped 4 classes. And what was so amazing is our team of students, our star students, made a commitment to come to my home every week on Saturday for 7 weeks. That is a huge commitment, as busy as people are. And Elizabeth, you know that. You were right there. You were just like, not only was Elizabeth a star student, she was a mentor to the other students, because she's been chopping and cooking since she was 10 years old. So Elizabeth, you were just so committed. You were there. Well, what happened was After 4 weeks, you guys, we took all this video to one of our editors. We were interviewing editors to choose the best editor, and 3 editors said, we are so sorry, we cannot use this video. And we were just shocked. And what happened was the type of equipment that we were using was so great in a church setting where you have long distances and you want to have really wide angles. But when you're trying to photograph food and you're trying to get up close to the food, everything was blurry. It was all not blurry, grainy. It was very grainy. And they're like, we just cannot do this. And can you imagine how heartbreaking that was? Because I'm sitting here thinking, these people have committed 4 Saturdays already. How can I possibly ask them, to come back again? So we contacted our good friend, Lisa Trineri, and she is a world-class photographer. And I said, Lisa, do you have any ideas? Do you have any idea of a fantastic videographer? And she reminded me that a couple of years earlier, we had been working with a wonderful videographer out of Nashville. And so we called him and explained what was going on. And he said, look, Teri, he said, in the next 6 months, all I have is 4 days free in the next 6 months. He said, I could hop on a plane and the following week, I could hop on a plane and could you shoot this whole entire series in 3 days? And I almost passed out. I mean, I literally, Beverly passed out. Elizabeth is sweating bullets. We're all just sweating. And so we get together as a team, we talk about, what's the worst thing that could happen? We like to handle it that way, right? And then, what's the best thing that could happen, So we finally came to the solution that, look, if we're going to meet our deadline and our goal, we have one of two choices. We can either completely back up and, go take it the slow route, or remembering John Maxwell, one of my mentors, and you guys could write this down. It's such a great quote. I used to have it on my refrigerator. He said, if you wait till you're ready, you'll never do anything. Isn't that just so good, Elizabeth?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. Yeah.
You know,
It
so
is amazing.
it was like, ready or not, here we come. So Zach gets on the airplane. We hire him. He comes. Lisa is his, what you call his backup videographer, our good friend, Lisa Trineri. And so she's the backup helpful videographer. And so now I go to the grocery store. This is the hilarious part, you guys. I go to the grocery store to buy the groceries for 21 recipes, four, 4 salads, and 3 desserts and 3 sauces, all in one day.
Can I say it took about 5 hours to put that grocery list together. Mom and I sat, I think, by your pool on a Monday morning. She's like, get here at 9 a.m. This is our shopping day. And then we had Tuesday to prep, and then Zach came in Wednesday, and we started shooting. And holy goodness, I mean, it was a production.
Yeah, no, Elizabeth,
We're
here's the
using 3
thing.
different refrigerators and freezers.
Oh, yeah, that's right. We had to borrow our neighbor's refrigerator. But
Yeah.
Elizabeth, you had to leave to go teach a piano lesson while I was still at the grocery store.
Mm-hmm.
While I was there, I kept noticing there was a man following me. And I'm thinking, am I in trouble? Like, why is this man following me? And finally he walks up to me. He goes, excuse me. He goes, I know I'm following you. He goes, but I can't help it. He goes, I am so fascinated and I'm so curious about what you're going to put in your cart next. Because by that time I was throwing things in the cart. Remember, Elizabeth? We were just push those carts down the aisle. We were throwing things.
Oh yeah.
That guy thought we were crazy. It was hysterical.
I'm pretty sure we threw the most stuff in a grocery cart ever in 15 minutes because I go, Mom, my piano lesson. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry, but I have to go. It's more
Elizabeth, I felt like we were on some kind of one of those cooking shows where they put the timer on and you've only got so much.
You're just running around. Oh my goodness.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so now, all right. So now we get home. Okay, now we started off. And here's the amazing thing. Those 8 students, I said, guys, please don't feel any obligation whatsoever to show up for these 3 days. You guys have already been so amazing. Don't feel obligated. Well, a couple of them couldn't because of, real serious time, work obligations, but at least 6 out of 8 showed up, like periodically throughout the 3 days. They would just show up. It was amazing. And so it was like a symphony. You guys, it was like a symphony. It was so much fun. And another huge goal for this class is teaching people how to take their flavors from good to extravagant with the use of therapeutic essential oils. So we taught that. We taught how to cook with the most amazing einkorn flour from Young Living. We taught a recipe with Ningxia Red, part Ningxia Red Parfait, which comes from my dear friend Melinda Powers, who is a restaurateur, a retired restaurateur from Vashon Island. She created that recipe and so many more fantastic recipes. So anyway, Elizabeth, there's so many lessons that we learned. What is there something that's coming to you? I've got a lot written down, but I want to take a breather and let you talk. So is there some specific thing that really comes to your mind about how everybody just pulled together and made it happen?
Well, I think what's so fascinating is most of the folks that came didn't have any video experience. So they weren't coming as like, oh, I've acted over here and I've been in a show over here. Or even some of them like haven't even been on Zoom very much. So they weren't techie people. But the way that it got pulled off was, I think, community. When you have really good relationships with individuals, they want to show up and give their best, even if they're afraid. And so I knew that there were some that like weren't very comfortable being on camera. Didn't it, they'd bring 3 or 4 different outfits to change into, kind of a thing. And because it was just this thought of like, this is so new. I don't know how to look. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to do. But the beauty of just um being in community, with loving people that you can mess up around each other and do a retake kind of a thing on a video if you need to, or go change clothes if you need to. That was the fun part of it. I
Yeah.
think another really fun part of it was because we knew Mother's main role was like kind of the star of the show, and she had to be like mentally prepared to get on camera and do the next segment of what she was teaching, because we had to keep that rolling. Many of us were thinking, okay, what do we do in preparation? So, like, Corey Barker was the amazing dish lady. I mean, I don't know how many hours she had her hands in dishes.
Oh, unbelievable.
Because
Unbelievable.
we would look at the recipe, we would prep everything, we'd have in little containers. Mom would get on camera, teach the show, bring different individuals in, and then after that's all done, you have to clean it up and then you move on to the next recipe. So we literally did probably gosh, like, 7 main shots of main recipes per day. And there
Yeah.
were 2 days that we were in the kitchen until 1 a.m. and 2 a.m. still shooting that late. And several folks were still there. And it still felt like the energy in the room still felt like it was noon. you know,
That is really amazing when you think about it. And Elizabeth, I remember something hilarious. You, and I can't remember who was with you, was in my bathroom with a big chopping block on wheels. You wheeled it into my bathroom and you were chopping carrots for the next course, the next recipe, while I was in the kitchen videotaping. So you closed all the doors so nobody would hear you chopping,
oh,
and you
yeah.
were just chopping away. It was hilarious.
I think
That
mom
was so
was
much fun.
Yeah, I
And
think
then
she's filming the dressing recipe for it, and I'm thinking, wait, we need the salad and we need the carrots and we need the this. So I thought, what could I do to go where it's quiet and out of the way, right? So we just literally kind of like take our whole operation into her closet and we're just chopping
oh,
carrots in her closet while the
oh
film
my
goes
gosh,
in the
that
other.
was so fun. There was another thing that happened where Susan McGinnis, one of our absolute star students, um, she noticed that one of the recipes that I was making was needing to be stirred on the stove, and I was talking into the camera. So she comes dancing on the set, dancing behind me, just like, like da, 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 stirs away, da, 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 and I don't even know she's there. And it looks like a comedy show. And all of a sudden I turn around and I said, is there somebody dancing in the background? You know, and I mean, it was just so natural. Well, then Beverly flies in for that shooting. We got to mention that, our amazing Beverly, because what we decided that was so important is I want people to know, why does your body love this particular ingredient in a recipe? Like if we're talking about salmon or we're talking about certain ingredients in a salad, why does your body love this? Great example, purple cabbage. Purple cabbage is the most fantastic food for protecting your cells from inflammation. So what Beverly did was, while we were in there shooting all the recipes, she was in my office preparing all of the, because what happened was I had my script, but it was too small. It was like small. So she took all my scripts, made them bigger, so it was really easy to read, you know, on set and all that. And so she would run in there, here's your next thing, Teri. And she was doing all of that. Plus she was on camera several times, because Bev and I have cooked together for probably 15 years. You know, we've been in the kitchen together. So that was a total blast. And then, okay, so Sean McGinnis, our good friend, had never in his life ever read a recipe. Okay. And he's like, Teri, I'm terrified. I've never read a recipe. The only thing I've ever done in my whole life is like cook a steak. So I had him in there making the pesto, and I'm like, okay, just read number 1. What does it say, Sean? You know, take that, take the basil, wash it, and take the stems off. You know, he was just terrified. And then the other wonderful man was Carrie Sutton. Carrie had never been in the kitchen with his wife ever. His big claim to fame is that every time they have a dinner party, his wife says, honey, can you get the ice? Honey, can you get the ice? That was his big claim to fame. So Elizabeth, when was it we were all just, we did the launch two days ago on the 8th. Carrie chopped all the onions and all the tomatoes for the organic beef and broccoli pies. It was so exciting. Sean, the one that had never cooked, made his own pie crust, the almond pecan pie crust. He and Susan each made a pie from scratch, beginning to end, making the crust, making everything, putting it together. And I have to say, he had a pretty good look of, like, you know, satisfaction that he had done it afterwards. So cool. And then Corey was there again, you know, just doing her absolute magic of keeping the kitchen clean. Oh, and then Justin and Lisa. Justin and Lisa were there for the entire 4 weeks, and they you know, couldn't make some of those other things that we were doing, but they were just like unbelievable, because Lisa already was cooking healthy. But what Lisa got excited about during this course was actually adding the essential oils to elevate the flavors of her recipes. And Justin did amazing. Like, he was chopping like a pro. So everybody just did so amazing.
I'd love
Anyway,
to mention Anthony as well, because
yes.
Anthony was Justin's, you know, kind of co-producer in the beginning of the videography things. And what's so fun, I just realized this last night, we got to go to Anthony's home and share with a group of men last night all about healthy eating and cooking. That was the first presentation you did after launching your course.
You know, you're right about that. And I was actually thinking about that. It was amazing. We had 8 guys there. The ministry is called Prodigal Road Ministries, and it's guys that are coming out of uh, some kind of addiction, and awesome young men. And we had a blast. We had an absolute blast last night. And we were talking about how, you know, when God made your body, he was thinking about a Rolls Royce. Like, you got to think of your body like you're a Rolls Royce. How are you going to take care of it? You know, are you going to give it high quality oil? Are you going to give it high quality gasoline? And these guys were laughing. And we had a great time. Well, getting back to this, Elizabeth. So, want to just move forward quickly. We're going to have lots of back and forth conversation with the group who's watching, but real quickly, another life lesson: the editing process of these videos was arduous. It was long and it was arduous. There was so much editing that had to be done. and our editors were in Nashville. It's not like we were just sitting there, next to each other. So again, trying to have those patience, trying to realize that good things take time. You can't be in a rush to create something of excellence. I think that's, a huge important thing to say. Then we thought, we don't even have a trailer to really kind of encapsulate all of this, like a 3-minute trailer. So then we thought, okay, who do we know from our team that's so good? And we brought in a gentleman from Colorado Springs, and he created the trailer. So once again, we never create something of excellence alone, do we? That I think is a really important lesson. Then Lisa Trineri came in originally to actually be one of the videographers. Okay, she's a very good friend. She's a world-class photographer. Initially, however, for this project, she came in under that capacity. However, as it went along, I said, Lisa, do you think you could take 5 minutes and photograph this recipe? You guys, it turned out not only did she photograph the recipes, I hired her to do the entire book layout for Eating for Life. So she flew here. We sat side by side for 3 weeks, and we created the format and the layout. And then she went back home and finished it. And through that whole process, we all became such amazing friends. And Lisa is actually moving here. She's moving to Texas, to Kerrville. Some absolutely amazing story. But Lisa was such an important part that when you guys see the recipe book, you're going to smile because she made it so beautiful. I feel like it's 10 times more beautiful because of her than what I even had envisioned. So it's amazing how God brings people. So the lesson here, you guys, is sometimes you have to do things afraid. Sometimes you have to have the courage and say, you know what? I really feel this is what I'm supposed to do. It's not going to be easy, but we're going to do it anyway, and we're going to do it. And so again, I'm so grateful to Elizabeth, so grateful to Beverly and every single person on the team. The reason Beverly's not here right now today is that the Seeds of Time, which is the bookstore connected to Young Living, they sell all of the beautiful health books and this sort of thing. They actually want to handle the course now. Now, here's a little miracle if you think about it. That whole thing started by a core decision to try to get out of this slump and change my perspective on life and get a better attitude after losing my husband. This whole thing started and went like this, and now Seeds of Time wants to handle it. Now, if we hadn't pushed forward, it never would have been ready for convention next week. But because all of us were committed to completing an excellence, it now will be ready. And Beverly is working on some 5-foot posters today that will be in the Seeds of Time store. So if any of you guys that are watching are going to be at convention, please come. I've got like 1 million hugs saved up and can't even wait to give some free hugs out. And please come and let's connect. I'll be in Seeds of Time during most of convention when we're not in general session. So please, please, please come. Finally, Elizabeth, and then we'll open it up real quickly, is to say that at 3:30 on Friday in the Grand Ballroom, so Friday, 3:30, the doors will open to sit down, and at 4 p.m., I will be speaking. My talk will be called You Can Live Your Best Life at Every Age. And it's going to be really fun and inspiring. So if you have a virtual ticket, you can watch it on the virtual Young Living 30th Annual Convention, or come to the Grand Ballroom, and I would love to have your support at that. So a little bit of that. Elizabeth, can you possibly put in the chat if anybody wants to purchase the course? We have like this fantastic, it's like a special launch price. The course is, it's like over a $200 course, but the launch price, you guys, is just crazy. It's it's like less than the price of a really nice dinner. I think it's $49. So, people say, "Oh, Terry, I don't know if I can afford it." But if you're drinking a $7 cup of Starbucks coffee, I can guarantee you can afford it. You're going to have 30 years of health and nutrition classes along with all the delicious recipes for 7 weeks, all for the price of a dinner. So it's a really, really kind of a no-brainer to go ahead and get that. And I would love to be in. What you can do is you can take your phone or your computer in the kitchen and turn on the class and just cook right alongside of all of us. So that's the way it's going to be. It's not like a DVD that you have to put into a DVD player. It'll be right there. You'll have instant access right on your computer, right on your phone. And you can take your phone to the grocery store and the shopping list will be right there on your phone. You don't even have to print it out. Every single thing that you need for every single menu has its own shopping list. So maybe you don't want to make the full menu. Maybe you just want to make the salad, or maybe you just want to make the salmon or whatever. That menu will be right there on your phone to take to the grocery store. So we're all about making it more fun to be in the kitchen. And I just want to invite you guys to join me for Eating for Life.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. And this would be a super fun thing, I think, to do with friends because we had so much fun doing this together in creating it. But honestly, I feel like if there was even like for instance, a kind of a home group at a church that was already going or wanted to start up and they wanted to do one meal a month or one meal a week,
Mhm.
everybody could chip in for cost of ingredients, um,
Yep.
bring certain ingredients, however you guys want to do it, and actually start really getting friends together to cook. That could be a super fun.
Honey,
Super
I
fun.
just can't say enough about that because years ago growing up, my mom had a cooking school. And therefore, we had an organic garden. And if you didn't work in the garden, you just didn't get dinner. And every single night was a family meal around the table. It was just, that's the way it was. And we've gotten away from that. In fact, the philosophy now is kind of like, how quick can I make it? How fast can I eat? And how fast can I get out of here? But that's
Hmm.
not the way our body works. That's not the way our digestive system works. Our digestive system works well with good conversation, eating slowly, having times of laughter with friends. So whether it's cooking with your children, cooking with your spouse, maybe you're an empty nester, or inviting friends over. I think you're right, Elizabeth. I think or even starting a cooking club. That'd be another way to do it, like kind of starting a cooking club.
Yeah.
And you would have like 7 Saturday nights of, cooking in your home, or maybe once a month. So I
Well,
just love it.
here's what I remember is I know when you moved to Kerrville, you asked me several times, do you know if there's a cooking school around? Because you love learning new things. And so you wanted to find a local cooking school to just go and take a cooking course. And so what's fun is now this could actually be a cooking course just right in someone's home on their computer
Yeah,
and do that.
yeah,
And
I love
I
that.
just love that aspect of bringing community together.
Oh, I love that. That's so good. That's so
Fun.
good.
It would be
Well,
fun to hear stories of how folks really uh, do create community around food. Um, I don't know what you would like to do as far as the chat now, but feel
yeah,
free
if anybody
to.
has a question or a comment, maybe just putting even in the comment just your favorite, like a favorite food memory, whether it's Thanksgiving, whether it's Christmas, 4th of July, something that is memorable around food. While you're thinking about that, Elizabeth, what comes to my mind as a child was that before Christmas, we had a full day of baking, nothing but baking. It was a full baking day of everything imaginable that you would want to eat, as far as like cookies and different special breads and things that you eat around Christmas. And we would literally be up to our elbows in dough. I mean, just absolutely incredible. Another thing was in our family, every Friday night, my father, my dad, would make his famous cheeseburgers for the family, and he would make French fries, and he would make milkshakes every Friday night, because mom and dad actually used to have a restaurant. So they had one of those big huge machines that did malted milks. Well, one night my father was making the shakes and something happened. I don't know what happened. And I ran in the kitchen and there was milkshake all over the ceiling, all over the walls. Just the whole thing went, crazy. Another thing was my sister Jill. Oh my gosh, my sister Jill was famous for having crazy things happen to her in the kitchen. So one day I'm in the living room and I hear all this commotion. I go running in the kitchen. My sister had our big mixer that we always made cookies with, our big heavy mixer. In the old days, our mother made us every year for Christmas, she would make us a pajamas and a robe every year. So this year, the robes with big bell sleeves were popular. They were like in fashion. So my sister is making these cookies. She's got her robe on, and the robe got stuck in the beaters, and my sister's screaming, "Teri, help, help!" And her arms going like this for the robe and the beater, and the cookie dough's going all over the kitchen. I mean, these are the things that happen. It's just so crazy. And so, those kind of things happen, and then you end up telling the story for the next 50 years. Oh man.
Yeah, those are some amazing stories, but they stick with us. I would love you to share your story of Joseph when he was in high school and starting up the Fridays of food. Because
Oh
I feel like
gosh, that
that's
was
such a fun
oh,
introduction to like you getting us as children in the kitchen, but also creating community.
great point, honey. Great point. Well, I hope some of you out there can identify with this. All of a sudden, your child turns, 11 or 12 years old, like I'm a mom, so my son, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't even know I don't even recognize this kid anymore. Like what is going on? I don't know how to communicate with him anymore. Well, to make matters worse, we moved from Prescott, Arizona to Colorado Springs during Joseph's junior year of high school. And it's a little bit of a difficult time to move, to make a big move when you're in high school. So I thought, oh, Lord, give me some creative idea on what I can do to communicate and to help Joseph make some new friends, during this critical time. So I texted him and I said, Joseph, hey, just wondering, have you met any guys this week at school? Would you like to invite him to come over for lunch tomorrow on Friday? And, because they don't want to talk to their mom. Guys this week at school, would you like to invite him to come? Sorry, there was an echo.
You're good. Keep going.
Okay. And, they don't want to talk to their mom, but they'll text their mom, right? Okay. So he gets right back to me. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, mom, I met a bunch of guys this week. And I said, oh, great. No, he said a couple guys. He used the word. So I'm thinking two, right? So I go to the store and just buy everything imaginable, made this massive meal, this huge meal. He shows up with 7 football players plus himself, 8 guys. And they ate every bit of food that I had prepared. And I'm like, score, this is great. Bring it on. So I'm just thinking, one and done, he's met some guys. Well, next Thursday, Joseph texted me, hey, mom, the guys want to know if they can come over for lunch tomorrow again. I said, absolutely. Come on, tell them to come on. So we kept that tradition going every single Friday for the entire junior year of high school. In fact, there was a couple of times where my sister, Jan and Jill from Denver came down. I was on a speaking, where I had to travel for speaking. My sisters came down from Denver just to keep that tradition going. So we did it every Friday. And, there was this one boy, he would come with this baseball cap turned backwards, like over his eyes. You could barely see his eyes. And he was so sweet. He was such a nice kid. And I thought, I wonder what's going on in his brain, And he was real quiet. And one day he shows up, he goes, Miss Teri. He said, we have a name for this group. And I said, oh my gosh, what is it? He goes, Fabulous Food Friday with Teri. And I said, wow, I am so honored. And, as the whole year went on, each of these boys start kind of opening up about, what's going on in their life and their family and all of this sort of thing. And we still stay in touch today. So this is the kind of thing that happens. My mom used to say, Elizabeth, she used to say, every good thing happens around food.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know? And
Well,
hey, Daniel, if you have any memories like my
yeah.
5 pound dinner rolls, or if you have any memories, Daniel, please feel free and jump in.
Oh yeah, no, there were a lot of memories growing up around food. I mean, definitely making cinnamon rolls. That was one of the highlights. You used to make a lot of pizzas. Those were really good. Oh, your pesto. Your pesto was probably my favorite, and that's because, as you know very well, pasta has always been my favorite dish. Anything Italian, and that pesto is just was always my absolute favorite.
Oh, it's so good. That's so good,
It
honey.
was.
I think today what I love is when you guys come and visit and we all get in the kitchen together as adults now. It's
Yeah.
just it's just so much fun. Oh, we did that contest. Elizabeth, do you remember the cooking contest we did in Florida a couple of years ago?
Well, I think the Christmas contest, was it the Christmas contest where
Yeah,
each of
yeah.
us had to buddy up with somebody else? We decided on what our, no, did we decide what our recipe was, or did we have
No,
to
you
pull a
got no,
recipe out of a hat?
you buddied up with somebody and then you guys went to the store,
Okay,
all the ingredients, and then you guys cooked.
there we go. There we go. Yep. Yep. Oh, that
Yeah,
was
that
so
was
much
fun.
fun because then it was each person's creativity that just made something delicious and amazing.
Yeah, yeah. Nobody felt like they were just the only one stuck in the kitchen all week, that kind of thing. My mother had another rule that was great, and that was whoever cooked was not allowed to do the dishes. So
Mm-hmm.
my father, he stuck to it. He would get us kids in there. We would do the dishes. My father was always super, he modeled, being helpful, not feeling like, oh, my mom's just this, slave in the kitchen kind of a thing. So it was, really, really special. So hey, let's also take just a minute to talk about convention, Elizabeth. Cannot even wait to see everybody, whoever's coming. We are going to be staying at that hotel that is connected to the convention center, the Hyatt. So just know, make sure if for any reason you don't have my personal cell number, uh, because this is out on public Facebook, Elizabeth. Let's not put it in the chat right now, but reach out and make sure you have my personal cell number. Make sure we connect. We're all flying in on Tuesday and we'll be there till Sunday. And I really, really want to connect with any of you guys that are going to be there.
Well, and definitely on the farm day too, because I think the whole farm is open to everyone this year. So if you end up going out there, we could sit under a tree and chat for a minute or, get
Well,
to.
and also I hope to see you guys on the dance floor, especially my son, Daniel. My son is the best dancer. So I hope to see you guys on the dance floor because they're going to have a country western band, a really famous one. Can't even remember the name, but they're very famous. And it's going to be out under the stars and it's going to be dancing. So, wow, at the farm. It's going to be amazing. And we also want to be sure we get some team photos in the lavender field. They'll have a beautiful lavender field that we can actually step into and breathe in the lavender and enjoy that. Elizabeth, I remember one year, funniest story, Young Living was, they were cultivating peppermint oil, distilling peppermint oil.
Mhm.
And we all went out into the field, and all of a sudden, everybody got so giddy. Everybody was laughing and just acting so silly. And I thought, have you guys been drinking or something? And what happened was literally, I think we got like what you might say we got high on peppermint. We were
Mhm.
breathing the plants and talking and breathing the plants, and everybody just got so silly. It was just amazing. So just the power of smell.
Oh yeah, I love it. Well, actually, okay, so Christine Jacobson raised her hand, so I'm gonna see if she wants to unmute, and then I see we have some Q&A as well. Okay, let's see.
Hello. I'm not sure if you can hear me. I'm not sure why the video is not.
Hi, Christine.
Hi, okay, you can hear me. So,
Yeah.
um, I'm not sure why it's not showing my video, but I did want to share a quick testimony as to why I'm so thankful for food and how you were asking earlier. So this last year in my life, Miss Terry, I think you're aware of this, but my brother went home to be with the Lord kind of unexpectedly, and he had just turned 21, and it was kind of a hard spot. Oh, here it is.
There you go. She's joining as a panelist. I just need
There we go.
station.
Hi.
Oh, yay, there you go.
Hi.
Yay.
Hi. So, I wanted to share my testimony with how I'm so thankful for food in the kitchen too. And I'm so excited about this thing that you've given to us, this gift of these classes. And I'm going to be doing it with my husband and my children. And I'm just excited to teach them in the kitchen and the importance of all these things, because it is something that I'm increasingly becoming more passionate about myself. Um, and I was saying this last year, we had a tragedy hit our family, and my brother went home to be with the Lord. He had just turned 21. It was unexpected and very hard. Well, during the day, I was really busy and kind of distracted, and I could just take care of my little ones and take care of my kids and kind of get through the day to day by doing those things, right? But at night, I'm sure you're aware of this, Miss Terry. Grief is just hard. It's heavier at nighttime. So what ended up happening though is the Lord just really introduced me to sourdough and making sourdough bread from scratch. And so in the evenings, I would prep my sourdough and I would just have a good time in the kitchen doing my stretching folds and playing with the bread. And it was just really fun. And so I kind of told my friends, I was joking with them and said, yeah, the Lord's really helping me, just giving me something to do with my hands at night. I'm caring for my children during the day. And I'm caring for my bread at night. So it was a testimony of just how God really used the kitchen and something as simple as prepping sourdough bread and food to warm my heart and help me through that grieving process this past year. So I'm thankful for all that he's taught me through that, and I'm excited to learn more through your course.
Oh, I am so delighted to hear this, Christine, and maybe you would consider coming on and teaching all of us about the sourdough. I think people would absolutely love it if you would ever consider doing that.
I'm no expert, but I could definitely show what I have learned, and it would be a blast.
Okay, that's so great. We'll plan on it. That's so great. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I look forward to
Good.
seeing you at convention and your sister and the little ones you guys are bringing. It's so exciting.
Oh, I'm so excited too. Everything Miss Terry just said about meeting together, going to get to watch her and support her in person as she speaks, and meeting up at the farm and playing around in the lavender field together. My heart is just so ready for that. I can't wait.
Oh, yes. Yay. Oh, so
Let's do
good.
it.
So
Let's do
good.
it.
Hmm.
Oh,
Did you
fun.
say was there a question in the chat, honey, or?
It was actually from Christine. So,
Okay, good. Okay. Well, let's see what time it is here.
uh,
Yeah, any closing comments, any closing thoughts? I think our goal today was just to say that, there are times in our business where we just feel like, oh, this is so hard, should I just give up? What should I do? And that's why I just want to encourage you guys. Another thing that it might seem a little unrelated, but I want to say this, that when you feel like life circumstances are just robbing your joy, right? Just taking away your joy, that is the time that we do have the power. We have the power in our mind to shift our mindset. And what I would like to say is run toward gratitude, because gratitude and joy are inseparable friends. And so during these difficult times, like when I have been struggling with grief concerning Reed, I like to journal and write these things down and journal things I'm grateful for. Can you imagine only having one good year with your husband and then he's diagnosed with terminal cancer? 1 year. So, so what I did was I wrote down every single good thing that I could think about that I got to experience in that year. being cherished, feeling cherished as a woman. You can't even put a price on that. It's priceless. So I think that is the lesson for us in building our businesses. Yes, there's tough things. We're going through tough times. The country is going through tough times, you guys. And that is when we just have to lean on our faith and make sure we're very careful with what we let come out of our mouth, because whatever we focus on is what's going to expand. So with this course that we've been working on, every single person, Elizabeth, I honestly never heard a negative thing out of anybody, even at 2 a.m. I just never heard anything negative. It was just all so uplifting, so positive. And I feel like that is why it's truly going to be a success and bless a lot of people.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So,
Yeah.
wow, wow, wow. Well,
Yeah.
this was fun. It's fun getting to share the process with our Young Living team, because I think and unless we take the time to do that, folks
Yeah.
know that we're doing something, we're
Yeah.
busy. I constantly have team members say, well, Elizabeth, I just didn't want to bother you, so I called Young Living. Or I just didn't want to bother you, so I tried to figure it out. I know you're so busy. And I let them know, please need me. Please contact me, because to me, that makes me feel needed and special. And like I love that constant communication. So at least I want to put that out for myself, is don't ever feel like I'm too busy. Mom can speak for herself. I mean, she does
No, I
with
love
Dawn
that.
and Bev, but we love that communication. And
Mhm.
so don't ever feel like you reaching out is a bother, because if we are not able to get in touch right then, that's okay. We'll get in touch later. But
That's
projects
why.
like this and other things happen all the time, and it's easy to get on that roller coaster, and then a whole year has gone by before you talk to somebody again. And so just from my heart to everyone else's, please know that, like, even if we're in the thick of something like this, we just want to be here for the team and love and support everybody.
Elizabeth, I love that. And I think you and I are productive, but we're not busy. We're
Yeah.
productive.
Yep.
We have plenty of time for our friends, for our team members, for those people we have that vision for helping people with their health. We are messengers, and we take it very seriously.
Mhm.
What our not obligation, but what our joy is to our clients and to our customers.
Yeah.
So there's a difference between being busy or being productive. When we're productive, we still have time for our friends and our family at all times. And if you text us at midnight, yeah, we probably won't get back to you at midnight, but we'll get back to you the next morning. So please do. And we can't wait to see you next week.
Yeah.
And reach out, and we'll plan some times to get together during the week next week.
I like the term focused productivity, because
Yes.
being
Yeah.
specifically focused, we're being strategic on what we're doing, and that
Yeah.
lends
Exactly.
itself to really focusing on the things that we want to and need to be doing, and the individuals that we want to be focusing on.
And Elizabeth, a huge, huge thank you to you for everything you did in front of the camera and behind the camera for Eating for Life.
Oh, you are so welcome. Well, thank you for including me in the project. I dare to say I don't know if it would have been possible. It would have been possible without me, but it was definitely fun being part of it.
I don't think so. It wouldn't have gone as well without you.
The grocery
No way.
store run might have been a little a little rocky.
Oh,
Anyways, so Beverly did share that usually we do a book club after this, because she's working on a project this week. We're going to postpone book club till next week. So
actually, next week, honey, we're at convention.
oh, okay.
So
So
yeah, it'll be
week
the
after,
following.
week
Yeah,
after.
week after. Yeah.
Yep. Stay
And
tuned. So
and
sounds
we'll
good.
probably have lots of stories to share. Get
Oh,
ready.
yeah. Oh, we will. Okay.
Yeah, thanks. Thanks
Well,
so
there's
much,
nothing
guys. Love
now.
you.
Bye-bye.